Well, it means that we are all good to go. There it goes, and alright, that's it. Now we're all good to go, and our journey is gonna start out up at the Leader Ituri Forest. The forest is the home of the animals that rely on their natural camouflage for their survival. Most forest antelopes or very reclusive animals get to make their way around here. Usually we have some of our first few animals down to the right, so we'll take a look up here first. Then you can start seeing that okapi. And okapis are known as the ghosts of the forest because, funny enough, they're known for being very hard to see and very shy animals. Although since that she's nice and visible today, so we love that.
Aww.
And from right over here, you can notice how okapis, they do have some sort of stripy legs. For that, most people think that they are related to, the zebras. Very rarely though, they're not at all. That instead is the closest living relative, but to the giraffe. A quick last look at it from right over here, and there she goes. She just disappeared. Down to the left, you start seeing some black rhinoceros right around this habitat. There's gonna be one of them just standing up all the way up to the back. Let's see if we can find a second one down here. Maybe a little bit more visible. We'll be on the look for them. Black rhinos are a very rare, also super solitary species. So they do enjoy hanging out by themselves. They can turn very territorial against different animals and other rhinos. So usually they just isolate themselves most of the day. Wait, try to keep an eye for a second one out here. There he goes. Since I found a really nice spot in the shade, just look up to the left. Restaurant time.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably a very good sign of get out of here, so we're moving.
Yeah, they did.
Now down to the left, it's gonna be some bungos, the beautiful copper animal up to the top of that hill. And it's kind of creeping out of those bushes. There's a greater kudu. She's just staring at us. She loves to do that.
Oh,
This is a
there she is.
lovely female. You can tell because she doesn't have any horns. There's a couple more girls back there, I believe. Only the male greater kudus grow horns.
Oh, okay.
And this is one of the biggest kind of antelopes in Africa also. They can grow and stand up to 5 feet tall up to the shoulder. And since those are most animals out in the forest, so we're just gonna start heading out. We're gonna be moving up to the Safi River. Now, this is gonna be habitat of some aquatic animals. We'll just keep an eye in the water, looking out for those bubbles, maybe dark shapes over here. Starting down the right, you can already see pinback pelicans and a couple of those Nile hippopotamus down there. Slip to the right, since they're just hanging out back there.
Yeah.
For hippopotamus, it is very common to spend most of their time submerged. This is mainly because they try to protect their skin from the sunburn, also from overheating. They get to hold their breath for about 5 to 8 minutes. And if they wanted to, they also get to sleep under the water. Since there's a few more of them down to the left, so just keep an eye right in the water. There's a couple right here. Group of hippopotamus is known as a bloat, so there's a little bloat of hippos. Kind of funny, actually. These are super heavy animals. This is a 5,000-pound animal right here. And I think, they're a little bit hard to see up on the side, but there's another animal coming up in just a second. It's gonna be some Nile crocodiles to the left.
Wow. That's a crocodile.
And the crocodiles, just like hippopotamus, these are super protective, also extremely territorial animals. obvious, but I like to say that crocodiles are carnivores. They do
Yes.
eat meat. And regularly they get to eat half of their body weight in a single sitting.
Wow.
Also almost half of their length, so it's crazy. They eat a lot of food. Now, because of the high amount of food that they eat, they're very used to eating once every week. That's about it. That is all they eat. They only eat up to 55 full meals a year. Now, right around the corner, we're going to be heading into the savannah in just a second. And we're going to be crossing by this bay above tree. This is what is called the tree of life. A very important part of the savannah. So essentially, those trees get to hold tons of gallons of water. During the dry season, the animals will use their tusk or their horns to just tap the trunk.
Oh, really?
They open holes and get the water out. So it is a little bit like a giant juice box for some animals.
Wow.
Alrighty. Heading into the savannah. All the way up to the right, I think there's a few animals spreading right back there. And it's just getting a little too sunny towards the middle of this habitat, so probably animals are just gathering upon the trees, just trying to get into the shade. We're going to be starting out up on the left in just a second. We're going to be on the look for some puppies out here. It's going to be habitat of the African painted dog or African wild dog. That's a little more common for them. And I think as they're looking out for them, just laying down underneath those rocks, I see a couple, maybe about 3 of them. Wild dogs are one of the most successful hunters out in the savannah. Just if you're wondering, why are they behind this fence? There they go. Even though they're super tiny and very cute, they're extremely smart animals. They decide to hunt in groups, and usually they will use their tails to spot each other as they hunt because they're There he goes. Right now to the left, there's a few of those sable antelopes. Very beautiful animal. This is the official symbol of their reserve. They're known for being really, really brave animals as well. And right up ahead, this is where we're going to be meeting up with some zebras in just a second. More specifically, those will be a few of the Hartman Mountain zebras. Group of zebras is called a dazzle of zebras. One of them up here. Since the rest of the dazzle is going to be all the way up to the back. And right around this group, we can keep an eye on little ones actually. We did have a couple of babies born about a year ago. They were both born inside of their reserve. Every time I get to talk about the little ones, I always at least try to point out their colors. Babies tend to be slightly lighter because they are born with brown stripes, not black. But they're both getting a little bit darker already. We'll see if I see any of them very clearly. I'll try to point them out. I'm assuming they must be hanging out back there. Oh, and I see a few of the giraffes as well. Now down to the right, you also have an ankle cattle out here. Those amazing horns.
Wow. Holy crap.
Their horns can grow up to about 6 foot long, normally each horn. Those are actually pretty light for them. They're about 15 pounds each. So pretty much nothing.
Wow.
And there's a great look at those zebras out here.
Aw.
Now I do see one of the babies is going to be hanging out by that tree on the back. And just look at the color of the stripes. There it goes. For me, baby zebras are one of the smartest babies around the savannah also. Those little ones get to recognize their mom by learning their stripe pattern. Usually happens within an hour of them being born. Now down to the right, if you pay attention in front of those bushes, there's a tiny tan and white antelope also. It's taking a nap. That's a springbok over there. One
Where
of
is
the
he?
fastest land
Oh.
animals. They run just as fast as a cheetah can do. They can reach the 60 miles per hour. And we're gonna meet up with some of the giraffes out here since there's also some wildebeest back there. Let's make a stop over here. A group of giraffes
There
call
he
it
is.
tower. This tower of giraffes, kind of funny actually. Probably the rest of the tower is gonna be hanging out a little bit further down. And giraffes are really funny. They're also super active animals throughout the day. Normally they sleep for about 30 minutes of the day, and that's about it. They can also sleep standing up with their eyes open, so it's a little bit weird to see them sitting down. Most of the time you see them walking around. They also wander for food for up to 20 hours of the day. So far, I think I don't see much more around here, so we're all good to move up and start heading into elephant territory. Of course, African savanna will be home of African elephants. I just start seeing a really big friend walking around the right in just a second. There he goes. This is, of course, largest land animal. Female African elephants reach the 8,000 pounds. This is a boy, a very young male though. But the boys are a little bit bigger. They reach the 13,000 pounds. That's a 1-3 just in case. Then we might see him once again in just a second. There's a little gap coming up.
There he is.
There it is.
There he is.
So the boys tend to be a little bit solitary and territorial. So they actually, just like those black rhinos that we spotted out earlier, they do enjoy spending time by themselves. They normally travel around the savannah alone or in small bachelor groups, like 3 or 5 male elephants. In case of the girls, they tend to be a little more social, so they get to just stick together throughout their whole entire lifespan. That's about 70 years, so it is a long time. It's very cute as well. Have a quick last look at this handsome boy to the right. And we'll see if we can find a few of the girls as well. Alrighty, then you start taking a look up to your left, you're probably going to start seeing some more elephants. We'll try to get a little bit closer.
There they are.
There's one of them. I'm gonna try to look for the rest of them. Usually if there's one of the girls out here, that means that there should be somewhere around. So we'll see. It's just getting a bit too sunny for them, I believe, so they're probably all gonna be gathering at the back of those rocks. We're also having a few of the flamingos coming around the corner. It's gonna be the flamingo island up here.
We're down there.
A group of flamingos called a flamboyance. This is gonna be flamboyance of some greater flamingos. And they're greater because one of the largest of the flamingo species. They also have one of the lightest of those pink colorations, so that's why they look a little bit white. And sometimes I also like to keep an eye for some gray ones in between their groups. The gray ones tend to be very young ones or even babies. Baby flamingos are hatched being fully gray. But they have a few little ones born about a year ago. The thing with the flamingos though, and with most birds, is that they tend to reach their full size within a year. So by around 7 months, their little ones are almost the size of their parents, so it gets really, really hard to tell them apart. Now, I do believe we're all get to say goodbye to them. We're heading out of the West Savannah. We're going to be moving up to the Savannah East. You just got to keep an eye down to your right.
Oh. Sleeping.
And white rhinos are one of my favorites because basically this is the rhino species. Essentially, they're just more social. They get along very nicely with different animals, also other rhinos. And their groups are called a crush of rhinoceros. I think right up ahead, we're also gonna get lucky enough to spot a few of the cheetahs. We'll be on the look for some of them, but if you start taking a look down to your left, just right in the middle, there's one of them. She's taking a nap. See her little body sticking out of the grass right there.
Oh.
This is there might be a few more up on this side. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. There's one laying down over here at the beginning of the second hill. She's facing the back though, but she's just right down there. See her tail?
I see your tail.
Cheetahs are quite beautiful. This is, of course, fastest land animal. Here's another one back there. They can reach an average speed of 60 to 70 miles per hour in about 3 seconds. Also, they get to maintain their speed for about a few hundred yards. They're diurnal hunters as well, so they tend to be a little bit more visible throughout the day, during the early morning, and going from one predator to another one. Gonna be heading into the Kobe Rocks, the Pride Rock, however you want to call this. And oftentimes this is home of the African lions. Now taking a little nap down to the left, I think I see an ear sticking out of those rocks. And I do see a couple of lioness napping out here. Let's look up to the left hand side, right in between the rocks, there's another one. See, I'm gonna try to have a look at her face. We'll see up on this side. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's the boy on the other side also. There he comes. This is quite normal, I'm not gonna lie. Lions are nocturnal animals. They can sleep around 16 to 20 hours of the day. It does make them really active during the night, during the early morning. Sometimes. There he goes. Although I do like to say that these are not lazy animals at all. They sleep a lot because they try to save their energy for the night and for their hunting. So in a pride, the boys are very used to being in charge of protection. Usually they take care of the cubs, that means baby lions, or any of the older ones in the group. And the girls are very used to being in charge of most of the hunting.
Yes.
Usually happens because there's always more lioness in a group than there's males. They tend to have a single dominant male in charge of the pride. Sometimes there could be a single boy in the whole group overall. And I want you guys to look up to your left, just right at the end of this habitat. It's going to be a warthog laying down at the bottom of that tree. Just look all the way up to the end, the last tree that you're going to see up here. And then look up to the bottom. Okay, this is Pumba. You kind of move over there. Warthogs are closely related to the pigs. They're really cute, really smart animals. Also, they're really good at camouflage, as you might notice. And Now to the right, we're having a couple of ostriches, since that it's fitting time for them. You're gonna be getting some snacks from that green truck. And the ostriches are huge birds, but they are flightless. This is the largest of the flightless birds. But they get to run really fast. They reach the 40-30 miles per hour. That was a couple of girls back there, I think. You can tell because of the gray color of their feathers. And if you look up to your right, you can probably see some eggs. It's right at the bottom. There's gonna be 5 or 6 of those just right up there. Those are ostrich eggs.
Aww.
Their eggs are huge. They're also
Wow.
super heavy. They can reach the 3 pounds each one. They're also very dense. It is possible for an adult to step on a group of those without even cracking the shells.
Wow.
This one is just out of the open.
Yeah.
That also seems that we're all good to head up to the last section of their reserve up here. And this is gonna be Magadi Glen. Now this home of the Nigerian birth goat. Honestly, one of the cutest animals around. You can see them hanging out all over the place, since there's a few inside of the truck as well. Here they go. And goats are really social. They're also super playful animals. This is truly one of the most domesticatable animals in the world, just because of how friendly they are. Normally they just grow up to this tiny size, max about 2 feet. So there's a chance there's some full-grown adults right around that group. I do always like to recommend people though that if you want to have an up-close view with some of those little goats today, actually pet them. You can do that here at the park. You just gotta go over right at Refugees Planet Watch, and that is also here in Africa. So essentially Refugees is just a 5-minute train ride. That's gonna drop.
Alright guys, so safari. What's your take on it?
Oh, it was really cool.
I was pointing at a hey.
And then he'll walk off my shoulder and fall, but the magnet saved him.
That's actually pretty good. I liked it. It's something a lot of people, I feel like, including me, would skip it. But yeah, I would say it's worth it. You actually see the animals compared
Got to sit for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Shaded.
Shaded. Yeah, and you
Actually
actually
saw a lot of animals.
saw a lot of animals. Instead of them hiding, like most like tourist safaris that you would see, yeah, they were actually out. So
I'm sure if you do it at the right time of day, like the mornings or maybe the evenings, if you're more active. We got like a lot of like lounging cats and
there's a cheetah. Was it a cheetah?
cheetahs.
Oh yeah, and the lions.
And the wild dogs.
The wild dogs,
lions,
yeah.
And the wild boar. They were all lounging. But the zebra was active, and the giraffe was active, and the elephants were active. It was
Yeah,
cool.
it's really cool. Now, as you guys can see, we're in Pandora, so we're gonna check this out. So I have a video of this too. Follow us.